Hey everyone out there in bright and beautiful YouTube land, it's Joel Ellison with Pinnacle Mountain Gunsmithing again, and I'm bringing to you today a rather obscure old hunting rifle. This is a Stevens Model 325C. It was made by the Savage Corporation sometime between 1947 to 1949. Only a relatively short period of time, and it's an interesting study in what World War II did to civilian arms manufacture, and it affected everything quite a lot. In wartime, everyone is looking for ways to make things faster, cheaper, better, and especially the cheaper. And this is an interesting case study in that it's definitely made cheaper, but I don't know, it has some echoes of what would later make the Savage Model 110 and Model 10 series such iconic parts of the American shooting sports. In any case, as you can see, this is a bolt-action rifle in 30-30 Winchester. They were also manufactured in a few other calibers, but 30-30 is about the only type I've ever seen. It also is available, this particular one, the magazine also fits 225. And I think there was also a version of this made in 220 Swift. I could be wrong about that. In any case, somebody look me up on that one. But yeah, magazines hold 3 rounds of 30-30. And conveniently, they're marked front. I don't know if that's reverse for you, but for me, it looks about right. This particular one, let's go ahead and take it over to the bench. And let's see what we can see. Stand by. Alright, here we are on a bench, and as you can see, bolt-action rifle with a significant inlet into the stock for the bolt handle. And yes, particular bolt has front locking lugs. The magazine comes out with the magazine release here, and you got 2 little grasping spots. And magazines are pretty basic, and just held in by a little sheet metal tab. The trigger guard is completely stamped, as are a lot of other components. We have up here a barrel nut. If you're familiar with Savage rifles, you should be saying, that looks mighty familiar. And you'd be correct, this was made by Savage. We have a pretty basic commercial rear sight, kind of semi-buckhorn style, with a little elevator that's also stamped on there. We have our front barrel band that's held on by that screw right there. We'll take that off here in a minute so you can see the rifle out of the stock. And our totally basic, standard commercial front sight. This particular rifle was at one time tapped for a scope, and also has available mountings for a peep sight if you're so inclined. Up there, that is a gas relief hole, and so is... if I close the bolt, you can see it. There we go. Another gas relief hole right there. That's for the event of a catastrophic case failure. In case the primer ruptures, that way gas doesn't just race down the firing pin channel and down the side channels of the bolt and go straight back into your eye. Oh, if you'll pardon the interruption, here comes Powder. Yep, she's checking the gun out. Yeah, does that meet your quality standards, girl? Yes, I bet it does. Oh yes, thank you very much. We also have a safety back here, and that's safe. That both locks the trigger, but does not, well, yeah, that's safe. Locks the trigger and locks the bolt handle when it's fully engaged, and that's fire. The trigger it's fine. It's not the crispest trigger I've ever felt, but it's decent, especially for what it is. It's a 3-shot bolt-action rifle in 30-30. I mean, it's pretty basic. Now, the choice of 30-30 is an interesting one. The Winchester lever-action rifles, they've been in 30-30 since 1894. And they're a fabulous rifle. Why would you want this? Well, first off, this was about half the cost of a Winchester. In 1940, late 40s, this retailed for like $38.25. Of course, it's worth a lot more than that now, but, you know, it is what it is. It was less expensive to manufacture, and it's about as accurate. I mean, Winchesters aren't known to be long-range tack drivers, which it doesn't really need to be. I mean, to hit a deer at less than 200 yards, it does not take a whole lot. I mean, but in any case, I'll go ahead and start on the takedown procedure. We have 2 bolts holding this rifle into the stock. We have this one under here, right there. Make sure I'm on frame. And this one under the sling here, that holds on the front barrel band. I'll go ahead and take this one off. Yeah, it's pretty standard stuff. There is another screw at the back of the trigger guard, but that just is a wood screw that holds it into the stock. Like I said, they kept it simple. Yep, that bolts out. And this one, which with the sling in here, that kind of keeps it all together. And yeah, if you don't know about the barrel band under the front here, you really wouldn't know that it was here. When I first got this rifle in the shop, I struggled a bit trying to find what's going on here. Why isn't the rifle coming out? But well, it turns out there was also this other screw holding it in. It takes a little bit to get it out of there. Oh, there we go. Hey, but yeah, like I said, the sling kind of does a good job of mostly keeping the screw captive. Yeah, now we can lift the whole action out of the stock, and you can see how much stamping is really on this thing. Here we are. All right, we have the whole trigger housing. That's pretty much just 2 big pieces of sheet metal. Our whole safety, that's sheet metal, as well as the little safety actuation piece that just blocks the sear and the trigger. And yeah, it's pretty standard and straightforward. The ejector also, it can come out fairly easily if you're not familiar with this particular rifle. Yeah, it's a little spring-loaded piece that's just held in with just this little pin right here. The stock holds it in while it's in the rifle, but yeah, it's easy to fall out. Especially if you're not paying attention. But yeah, the magazine, it's held between these 2 pieces of sheet metal. It pretty much just act like little springs. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Is it the smoothest feeding rifle in the world? No. It's pretty easy to get the bolt hung up and things not feeding right. Just kind of slow down, back up, push down, shove it forward, and you should be fine. But yeah, the stock screw just kind of feeds into this recoil lug back here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. As I said, the whole magazine well and trigger guard is all one piece. Nice World War II era style efficiency. And here we have, that's our lug for the recoil, our place for the recoil lug. And yeah, it's pretty basic. The front barrel band is just stamped piece of sheet metal with 1 machine piece in there. If you're into Savage rifles, you'll know that most of these have a common style of nut. This does not fit that particular pattern of nut. You would have to have a different barrel wrench to get that off, and might as well just make it custom because, yeah, these were only made for like 3 years. And, yeah, good luck finding one in this day and age. In any case, let me get this particular rifle back together, and I'll share with you a few more thoughts. Stand by. Here we are, all back together. The Savage 325C. Now this, is it a fabulous piece of hunting heritage? Absolutely. Is it a snapshot of time in the time and place in which it was made? Yeah, absolutely. Wartime conditions. A lot of factories were coming off their war footing and were looking for civilian arms they could make. And a lot of times they adapted the machinery and some of the techniques that they learned over the war and to make things better and cheaper. and that made for very affordable arms for the everyday shooting civilian. And this is an example of that innovation, and the wonderful innovation that the American arms industry has always put out. But I'm curious, if anybody in the audience has any experience with these rifles, tell me about it. Was it a good rifle for you? And do you still use it for its intended purpose? Because this particular one still is in fine shooting shape. Only reason it was in the shop was because it needed a new rear sight, but other than that, it's still in fantastic shape. In any case, this particular rifle is about ready to go home to its customer. And we're just want to remind you that we're a full-service gunsmithing shop in beautiful Pickens, South Carolina. And we can take care of any of your gunsmithing and shooting and hunting needs. If you have any classic hunting rifles or modern sporting rifles, we service them too. And if you have a dreamscape project that is so wild that no one would believe your dreams, well, I don't know, try us. We'll see what we can do. In any case, I'm Joel Ellison, and this has been Pinnacle Mountain Gunsmithing, and I hope to see you in the next video. Stand by. We'll see you.